Okay, finally got here. Between processing bowl blanks and fixing my chainsaw, I'm having my second Monday of the week. Don't ever buy a Craftsman chainsaw, not even for light duty stuff, because if anything breaks on it, I doubt if you're going to be able to get parts. Not run out, buy them, take them home type parts. Maybe order them online and wait a week. That's what they're telling me. So I figured out a way to fix it. They can go sit on the thumbtack. Okay, anyhow, I was asked about fuming a white oak bowl that I made. Okay, I used to do furniture, which involves having a nice big plastic tent so you can put the piece in there. And it's more involved. You've got to try and get the best color match as possible between all those pieces of wood that you use to build the furniture so that they will fume to approximately the same color in the same amount of time. Whereas with a bowl or a vase, something like that, platter, you just got your one piece of wood as a rule. Not a problem. White oak and red oak are of course big time tannin type woods, so you really don't need to add anything to them. Now I've had some really dry white oak that didn't want to fume very well, and what I did was took some, I always keep them around, old tea bags, made a super strong mixture of tea, boiled it on the stove for a while, and then painted that on the wood, and when it dried, then I went ahead, well, dry to the touch, I went ahead and fumed it, and it turned out beautiful. Now this piece of white oak I didn't have to worry about. I could tell by the smell that it still had enough moisture to fume properly. So basically, you've turned a bowl, let's say 6 inches in diameter. You want to fume it. Well, this is a 16 by 11 wide by 7 inch deep Dollar General, I don't know, some kind of storage container. Lots of potato salad, I guess. Has a nice little plastic lid that clips down. A 4-inch drain cap, preferably the flat ones like go on the sewer and drain type pipe, the thin pipe. They make nice little cups. And then a bottle of Kroger all-purpose ammonia. It's like 5 or 6%, I think closer to 6. I looked it up once. Plenty strong. Everybody tells you need, that 26, 27% stuff. All you're doing is risking burns and damage to your lungs, eyes. It's not necessary. If you want to do it in a hurry, or if you're doing a piece of furniture in a big, like 5 by 5 by 5 tent, yeah, the stronger stuff puts out much stronger vapors in that size of a container. But when you're just doing a bowl or something, say even in a 2-foot square, 2-foot cube, household ammonia is going to do you fine. 24 to 48 hours, you're going to have all the color you want. Much safer to work with, less chance of getting burned, especially the eyes and lungs. Now before I put a bowl in there, I make up these, could be a caltrop for trespassers, but little blocks, 3 little nails through it, all the same length. So I can set that down inside the container. I center my bowl on it. That way the fumes will reach all the way around the bowl evenly at the same time. If you just plop it down in there, what's going to happen is the bottom's going to come out looking like that. Then you have to flip it over to let it get fumes. Well, the problem is you've already fumed the other part and it starts getting real dark. You can actually go almost black with this if you leave it in there long enough. So my thing is, set it up on them 3 little pegs. The fumes can easily get right up there. They won't leave any teeny white dots or anything. But once you've got it setting on there, then you take your cap, or whatever you're using. I usually fill this about half full. I don't know, maybe a cup, a little more than that in there. And the warmer the environment it's in, the faster this works. Here in the shop, I turn my heat down to 48 at night, so it slows things down. When it's good and warm and I'm not running AC or heat. In the summer, sometimes in 12 hours, it's as dark as I want it. The only thing, once you set it in there, try not to splash it around. You don't want to splash the ammonia on the wood, because that will instantly make a dark spot that you will probably not be able to match up, get a match. You always have that dark spot. So try not to splash any on the wood. Now there's guys that actually put on gloves and wipe the ammonia right on the wood. Well, to each their own, let's put it that way. I wouldn't do it, but they do. So you've got your ammonia in the container, your bowl's in there, carefully put your lid on. I usually put something like a piece of plywood, something flat, a couple of boards side by side, just to make sure there's just a little give there, just to make sure that lid's held down tight so you're not losing the fumes out to the air in the shop or wherever. Starting at about 12 hours, you can come out and check it. Now, when you take that lid off, this stuff's not made for snorting, okay? If you want the inside of your nose hairs burned completely gone and your eyes fried, yeah, go ahead, start snorting. Otherwise, keep your face way back. Don't bounce this box around or anything to where you're going to be splashing, because you don't want to get it on the bowl, you don't want to get it on you. Because even this Kroger 6%, it can burn your skin. I got some on me right there today. Left a little red spot before I could get it off. I felt it right away. But I was being careless getting this cleaned out so it didn't look so grody when I did this video. But you can use larger containers. I mean, you know, if you're going to do a 16-inch bowl out of white oak, or a vase, okay, you can take and make two of those 3-legged nail pads, and you can turn the vase over on its side in the container and go ahead and fume it. You won't see any white dots when you're done. The fumes, you'd be surprised. They get in there so tight there'll be no white dot left. But start checking in about 12 hours, because you can stop anywhere along the way. You get the color you want, or maybe just a hair short of where you want to be, pull it out and set it where there's some airflow, fresh air. The ammonia will evaporate. The smell doesn't last. I had a gentleman tell me a year later he could still smell the ammonia in a piece he had fumed. I've never had that, and I don't know what kind of wood he was working with, whether it was white oak or something else. I've done cherry, maple, walnut, white oak, red oak. You can do chestnut. I mean, you can even do pine. If you want to soak the pine with a tea solution, or go to a, well, wine shops, you know, winemaking suppliers, they supply grape tannin in a powder form. You can mix it with warm water and paint it all over whatever you want, and this stuff, the ammonia, will work on it. So you can do pine, but it doesn't look very good. No, no way. Kind of looks like some very poorly made Chinese green tea. But yeah, that's all there is to it. And you know, a bigger container, I would probably keep where it was good and warm, so that you make sure you have a good strength of vapors all around the item you're doing. Now everybody's going to say, well, what do I do with the ammonia when I'm done? Well, it's not going to look overly great, so I don't think your wife's going to want to wash the kitchen counter with it or anything for cleanliness. What I do is I usually take it in, dump it down the drain. It's very good for getting rid of nasty smells in drains, dishwasher, or garbage disposals, things like that, and then rinse it with lukewarm water. Good to go. The PVC, it's not hurt by that stuff at all. But basically that's all there is to it. And then you pick the finish of your choice. I've used polyurethane, spar urethane, True Oil gunstock finish. It works real good with it. It's easy to apply. In warm temperatures, say 70 and above, it can actually be ready to recoat in 2 hours. As long as you aren't putting the coats on too thick, it can be ready to recoat again in 2 hours. A trick to doing a bowl with True Oil gunstock finish: do the inside first. I learned the hard way. Do the outside first, and then you got this wobbly bowl in your hand and you're trying to wipe around the edges and stuff and get nice clean surfaces. No. You end up dropping the bowl on the carpet, and then you got to pick all the fuzzies out of your finish, or dog hair in my case. But that's basically all there is to fuming. You're letting the ammonia interact with the tannin, and it does a wonderful job. Like I said, you can go from a light brown, I've done them, to almost black. The original finish that was used on fumed furniture, Gus Stuff, Stickley, and companies like that during the arts and craft period, was orange shellac. If they wanted a darker look, they'd sometimes use garnet. It has a reddish tinge to it. But the standard was an orange shellac, and it was generally a 2-pound cut. And that way they could apply the coats needed to give them the look they wanted for that particular piece. I particularly like orange shellac over fumed items. For some reason, it just has a classy glow, because you get some really nice brown and gold highlights when you fume, because it's not like a stain. Stain muddies the grain. The fuming actually will highlight grain, especially if it's quarter sawn white oak. Those medullary rays, they pop. They're fantastic. And they really look sharp. You can put some orange shellac over it, and I mean, you've got yourself a pretty piece. But that's personal taste, you know. I used to do a lot of reproduction authentic stuff, and I used that all the time to replicate their finish. So that's basically it. Like I said, safety. Especially if you got sensitive skin, I would maybe wear some gloves, latex gloves, something so you don't get liquid on your hands. You do not wear some kind of safety glasses at the very minimum, just in case. You know, you have a doofus day and you happen to drop this in a container of ammonia, you're liable to get splashed. If it's on your skin, yeah, you can wash that off real quick. But if it gets in your eyes, I can't use that word. You're in a lot of trouble. It's gonna burn the bejeebers out of your eyes. I've seen it happen. So be safe. It's worth trying at least once, just to get that look. But be safe. So, anybody has any questions, everybody knows where to get hold of me. Either on YouTube or you can catch me on the groups. I'm wandering around there somewhere all the time.